I'll start off saying that I always make the most out of my frequent flying experiences. If you haven't watched my most recent video, check it out. My flight out of LaGuardia had to return to the gate for more fuel due to a reroute and bad weather. Well, I'm in for it all over again, this time to LaGuardia. While this is going to be a very long journey with some setbacks, I'm actually going to be more upset about what happened in the last few minutes of the flight. Well, it's a new day, and I'm ready for a new flight, so I'm headed to the Orlando International Airport to catch an A321 for the hop up to LaGuardia. As I approach any airport, I'm focused out the window, and today is no exception. I'm curious about the traffic pattern, and today MCO is in a southerly flow. All of its parallel runways head north-south, and the winds coming from the south, all aircraft are flying towards the south today. As we enter the airport property from the north side on Jeff Fakua Boulevard, my eyes are drawn to the airside ramps hosting aircraft between their flights. Upon arriving at Terminal B, I went straight for the Delta check-in area. Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's a busy day here at MCO. There are a lot of people in the main check-in area, but I'm going to be using the Sky Priority check-in area where there's no line at all. Let's head over to LaGuardia today. After swiftly dropping off my bag, it was off to the main atrium under a built-in hotel which serves as one of the TSA entry areas. I love this feature at the Orlando International Airport. There's a fountain right before going through TSA. It's great here. Who doesn't love a good old fountain in a good old airport terminal? I'm going to pause this video for one moment as I go through TSA. My flight is showing on time. TSA is done, so it's time to take the train. I'm following the signs for gates 70 to 99, which lead me to an airside train to the satellite that Delta operates out of. This kind of has a Disney look to it. We're in Orlando, of course. Okay, I'm on the train. Let's head over to the concourse area where my A321 is going to be arriving soon from Detroit. If you're like me, you try to be the first on the train just so you can get the forward-facing view. Upon arrival in the satellite, I took advantage of my Delta Diamond Medallion Choice benefit of Sky Club membership. It's around lunchtime now, and with no meal service in my main cabin seat, I didn't see any reason why I should not grab something complimentary from here. I'm enjoying this Sky Club experience one level up above the gate area. Nice sprints here today. Just as I was done, it started to rain with lightning, and I saw that my flight, Delta Flight 2175 to LaGuardia, is now delayed. I decided to head on over to the gate area to see what's going on. Okay, right now here at MCO, the ramp is actually closed due to lightning, so they're delaying boarding of all flights. It shouldn't be that much. However, my flight does have a 20-minute delay. It's gonna be crowded down there. That's not my airplane, but it sure is nice to look at. This is my flight. Wait, it's delayed further from what the sign said just a few minutes ago. So from expecting no delay while in the Sky Club, my flight is now delayed 40 minutes. There's gotta be a reason for this because even with the ramp closed, other flights aren't delayed as long as my flight. Okay, our flight just took another 20-minute delay for a total of 40 minutes. Apparently, the flight attendants are inbound on a flight that just landed. However, the ramp is closed, so no aircraft that have landed are allowed to pull into the gate. Perhaps they're on that aircraft out there. I don't know. Now, check out the area of the sign where it says Actual 230. Keep looking at it. Yep, the time just changed. Our new departure time now is 3:10 p.m. And there are no personnel on the ramp due to the threatening weather. Okay, well, as I wait for this flight to board, let me talk a little bit about my seat selection today. Today I've strategically chosen a seat on the right side of the airplane because we're planning to land on runway 22 with right traffic. More on that later. Okay, we've got some activity down there. Looks like the ramp is starting to open up again. Finally, the ground crew is allowed to come on out. And finally, more planes are starting to land. The gate agents never told us which flight our crew was arriving on, but I hope they're on this A321, which is finally pulling in, and it's at the gate next door, a short walk for the crew. Our aircraft is actually being prepared for pushback now, even though we haven't even boarded yet. We can't board until the flight attendants are on board first. They need to prep the cabin for us and assist passengers during the boarding process. Other flights nearby that aren't waiting for crews are boarding now. It's noisy and crowded in here, and gate agents are making announcements all at the same time because everyone's boarding at once due to the weather delay. Alas, our crew came on board and our boarding process started. The sign said our departure time was 3:10, but we only boarded 10 minutes before that. Okay, it's 3 o'clock and I am boarding this A321 to LGA. Today, my seat is in the rear of this A321 on the right side. I am thrilled about the fact that at the time of landing, the wind at LaGuardia should be coming from 180 degrees, which will call for runway 22 to be the arrival runway and runway 13 to be the departure runway. This means that chances are very high that we'll be flying northbound up the Hudson River before we land. This will provide great Manhattan views. Well, with the flight attendants on board and all passengers taking their seats within 30 minutes of the boarding process, you'd think we'd be able to push back right away. Well, that won't happen. Because we were delayed due to weather and a late crew, the ground crews were really busy servicing other flights, and we still need to take on fuel for our flight, and the baggage still needs to be loaded. This is going to take some time. From the moment I boarded until the time we actually pushed back, I waited on the plane for 1 hour and 54 minutes. So of course that 3:10 posted departure time was not met. Let's push back for LaGuardia now. I'm so excited. Right traffic to runway 22? Here we come. What a great feeling it is to finally be pushing back onto the ramp. I love airports, of course, and I can't complain, but I entered the airport terminal at 11:54 a.m. It's now 5 hours later. What could possibly go wrong at this point? Right now, I'm in operational mode, and I'm thinking that we'll be taking off to the south since the winds haven't changed since I entered the airport earlier today when I saw those airplanes landing to the south. Today, our departure runway will be runway 18 left, one of 4 parallel runways. Runway 18 left is actually on the other side of the terminal complex that we left from, so we'll have to take a transition taxiway to the west side of the airport to get there. Now, I guess we should learn to become familiar with this view. You see, it's going to play a role again in our future. Even though I'm thinking about our flight, there's something else that's going on in the flight deck. You see, pilots can only fly for limited hours before they become what's called illegal. That means that they can only work for a certain maximum number of hours before they time out. Yes, this concept is crossing my mind now, but we're moving along so smoothly, and after waiting in the terminal for so long, what could possibly go wrong? Well, as we approached the holding area next to the departure runway, the pilot came on the PA system with an unfortunate announcement for the passengers of this full A321. The pilots missed their duty time, and we had to go back to the gate.
With such delays, we missed our window for our duty time limitation, and that's something we can't go past at this point. So we've informed the company that we need to go back to the gate.
So we turned around and Orlando Ground Control guided us to an empty Delta gate. When this happened, since the decision was just made, no one has any idea what's going to happen next. Will the flight continue later this evening? Will the flight get canceled? Will passengers get booked on another flight to New York, perhaps a connecting flight? Or will those without accommodation in Central Florida have to spend the night in a hotel? Unfortunately, the answer won't come until we get back to the terminal. At this point, I got off the plane. The crew had timed out and went home, and Delta had to search for both new flight attendants and pilots to help this flight operate tonight. Okay, we're back in the terminal here at MCO. The time now is 6 o'clock. Let's see if we can get going tonight.
just stay here at the gate. We're gonna start rolling in about 5 minutes.
Okay, they got the flight attendants and we're gonna be boarding again, so we're gonna make it to LaGuardia tonight. I'm back on the same plane. It's a different time, and there's different flight attendants and different pilots. We should be able to get out soon this time because the aircraft is fully fueled, and all bags have been loaded. Since we've made it this far, I'm optimistic as we push back. The flight attendants probably have a lot of time available for them to work extended hours, and as far as I know, LaGuardia is not experiencing very bad delays tonight. So, for the second time, in the same day, my mind is back focusing on that runway 22 approach and the high chances of us flying northbound up the Hudson River tonight. So exciting. It's the same process all over again. Again, we're headed to runway 18 left, and our taxi path to the runway is the exact same route all over again. If this part of the video looks to you like you saw it before, well, you did. It's just later. Exactly 6 hours and 3 minutes after our scheduled departure time, we're cleared for takeoff by the Orlando Tower. Two CFM engines are powering this nearly 4-year-old Airbus A321 into the sky. Our departure runway heads south and New York is to the north, so we enter a series of slow, left-hand turns to bring us back around in the opposite direction. We won't be seeing the city of Orlando as it's to the northwest of the airport. Once our nose heads to the north, we'll be paralleling the Florida coastline on our right side as we climb to our cruising altitude. It'll be a rather straight run up to New York after that. The flight will encounter no further delays. However, there will be expected turbulence, so the seatbelt sign will be kept on for most of the flight. The rest of the flight was uneventful, and turbulence was only occasional. But just as a matter of precaution, the captain asked the flight attendants to suspend service. Now, I don't know if this was because I was seated in the rear of the plane or only passengers up front got served, but on this flight, I didn't get anything at all. No snack, not even some water. Now, when we returned to the gate, Delta provided me with a voucher for some food inside the terminal, so I took advantage of that, so at least I had that nourishment after the Sky Club meal. It was nice to get all that food for free. It wasn't nice that my goal was to film the approach to New York City during daylight hours, and because of the extensive delay this evening, the approach to LaGuardia is going to be at night. I purposely picked this flight for a daytime approach. In any case, the real good news and the objective of this video is to film Manhattan, and the wind is still coming from the south, meaning that runway 22 is the arrival runway and runway 13 is the departure runway. And the approach controller is vectoring most aircraft tonight northbound up the Hudson River before turning them back around to the south to land. In some of my recent videos, the approach controller has been vectoring aircraft directly over Manhattan, making it nearly impossible to see the tall buildings. But today, finally, we should be flying up the Hudson. I wish it was daytime, but there's nothing I can do about it. We've started on down to the New York metropolitan area via the Corey for arrival, the standard arrival procedure for aircraft approaching LaGuardia from the south. It brings us over Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey on a northeast heading before it descends us even lower over New York Bay. Once we get to the bay, New York Approach Control will provide us with radar vectors to get to the runway. Since runway 22 is the landing runway, we'll need to bypass the airport and swing back around to land. These turns and instructions to go to lower altitudes will come from New York Approach Control, which is a radar facility located in Long Island. Since we'll be passing by LaGuardia to the west, since runway 13 is the departure runway, aircraft that depart on runway 13 will climb in the airspace to the east of LaGuardia in the vicinity of Citi Field in Flushing and Queens. So typically we'll fly up the Hudson River, then turn right over Westchester County before joining the final approach course to runway 22 around New Rochelle, and then we'll fly straight in and land. So I'm on the right side of the plane to take in the views. But there's a problem, and for me, despite our big delay, this is going to be the most disappointing part of the flight. You see, due to the projected turbulence, the flight attendants didn't get out of their seats very much, but they do have to do a cabin safety walkthrough before landing. Unfortunately, they didn't do this walkthrough until we entered New York City. In order to do the walkthrough, they need to turn on the interior cabin lights so they can check each passenger's seats, ensuring their seatbelts are fastened, tray tables are stowed, and luggage is properly secured. This normally occurs much earlier on in the flight, but tonight it happened for me at what's the worst possible moment. When the interior lights are on, because of reflection, it's really hard to see out. This is Lower Manhattan, and I'm trying to hold the safety card up to the window so my camera can capture the tall buildings, but I'm finding that instead of blocking the light, it's causing even more problems. I'm struggling here. I've waited for hours for this 1 minute stretch, and the cabin lights are failing me. I know that Midtown Manhattan is coming up soon, and I'm just moving around my camera in different positions to try to avoid the reflection. I think I may have it here, but it's still not the best. Midtown Manhattan has some iconic landmarks such as the Empire State Building, Madison Square Garden, and so many new super tall skyscrapers. It's a real shame that the cabin lights are on. Take a look. Guys, I'm trying my best. We're going to touch down in around 6 minutes, and I'm thinking to myself, when are they going to shut the lights off? For safety reasons, I really hope they don't keep the lights on until we touch down. The lights have been on the entire length of Manhattan. This has never happened to me, ever. While many of you may disagree, this was worse than the delay. Flying up the Hudson is what flying to LaGuardia is all about, and it works best when you can see it. Alas, the lights are out and we finally have a clear view of the New York City borough of the Bronx. Under the control of the approach controller, we'll proceed a little bit further into Westchester County, then make a U-turn and land with clearance from the control tower in Queens. I'm happy I can enjoy these city lights. Okay, we've landed on runway 22. From here, the tower controller will have us make a left turn and hand us off to the ground controller to give us taxi instructions to the terminal. Our scheduled arrival time was 4:40 p.m. It's now 10:08 p.m. Because of this, passengers were really excited that we're finally in New York City, and they did something that I've never experienced on any flight in the USA. What you're about to hear is much more common outside the USA, but the feeling of relief was just so great for these passengers that they just had to do this. Welcome to LaGuardia Airport. Well, that was a very, very long day. All right, it's late at night here at LaGuardia Airport. It took a very long time to get from Orlando to LaGuardia. We started off in Orlando delayed. We taxied out to the runway, went back to the gate, got off the airplane, got a new crew, and then went out to LaGuardia. Most people were disappointed by the fact that it took a really long time, but the biggest issue for me, of course, was the fact that while we were flying up the Hudson, the flight attendants had the lights on. I couldn't see out the window very well. I was supposed to make this approach during the daytime, but the delay turned the flight into a night flight. Nice terminal here. Now, I need to get the baggage claim. I'm walking down a temporary walkway to get there. All right, I'm taking the elevator up. I'm telling you, with the new LaGuardia, there is more walking to do than ever. Okay, I'm on the moving sidewalk here. I have to tell you, one thing that I missed about the old LaGuardia was the ease of access to get from the gates to the baggage claim area. It was just a matter of minutes. Now the times are drastically increased. This airport is big. It's beautiful, but it's not as walk-friendly as it used to be. All right, everybody, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was a long, long day from MCO to LGA, but I enjoyed it. Remember that if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I invite you to click on the subscribe button below, hit the bell button, hit the like button, and be advised that I will be back with many more great videos like this. Thanks, everybody, and see you in the air soon. Hey viewers, pardon the interruption. I really hope you've been enjoying my videos. I strive to put out the best content to make my channel the best aviation channel on YouTube. And did you know that there's a way for you to support my channel? It's called Super Thanks, and it's available on every video that I produce. To give Super Thanks, click on the 3 dots under the video on the bottom right. Then click on Thanks. Use the slider to select the amount you'd like to give, then click Buy and Send. Sending levels start at just $2. Everything that you send from Super Thanks goes right back to this channel to make it the best channel out there. Thanks, everybody.